Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going without the webcam. Currently, there is a Doom Tower rotation taking place that is, you could argue, is one of the hardest Doom Tower rotations in the game. Well, mainly because of this boss right here. Bommal is a really hard boss, and there are a number of ways you can actually cheese him with solo champions. And for example, you could use Samar, Gem Cursed. He is a champion that can solo it, but the gear requirement is pretty crazy. And another champion that you could use to solo it is also going to be Crimson Helm. But with this champion, it's really tough because you have to actually manual it, and the run, if you do it relatively quickly, it'll take like maybe 18 to 20 minutes or something like that. But it's still pretty tough, right? Now, the champion I want to present to you today that currently we are on my free-to-play account, and I was using Gem Curse for a while to beat Bommal. But I decided to use a different champion instead because the gear requirement is not as crazy per se, and it's a lot more safe, and it just feels very good and smooth. Now, the run that I just did to beat it was about 8 minutes, but I'm going to be rerunning it again with you guys so you can see it for yourself. But the champion we're going to be talking about is none other than Lady Annabelle. This epic champion was just built for this boss fight. Why? Because this passive right here heals a champion by 50% of their max HP whenever an ally or enemy dies. So this part is key, enemy dies. Now Bommal throws out a bunch of bombs. He also places two, I guess like little minion bomb detonators on the ground, and those technically count as enemy. So whenever those blow up, then you're going to be getting your HP back, basically. So that's why she is so good for this fight. And also on top of that, for their A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit heals the champion by 3% of their max HP. So the more HP you can stack her with, the more HP you'll get back, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, this champion is amazing. For the A2 and A3 is irrelevant. You're going to throw those off for that boss fight. You're not going to need those. But yeah, so for the gear, how you want to build her is with regeneration set and immortal set, because that's going to give a lot of HP. And the regeneration set is going to be giving her 15% HP every turn. So you want to make her relatively quick, and the speed that I got her to was 232 speed, and from what I've seen and tested, I think you could maybe like minimum 225 speed would be good, maybe even 220, but the faster the better. Now I did test her out with a speed or a lead, which I'll talk about in a moment, but yeah, I mean, this speed is just fine. Now for the rest of the stats here, ideally you would like to have at least 70,000 HP. I did test her with about 65,000 HP just so I can see the limitations of how consistent it could be, but it's not very consistent. Like the more HP she has, the better. And as far as the defense goes, I'd probably say if you can get to around 3,400 or so, that would be really helpful. And yeah, so as far as the masteries goes, you're going to be using going down to the War Master, because it's going to be your key or way to do a lot more damage to the boss over time. And for the rest of it here, we're just going with a lot of protection, more defense, more AoE reduction damage, and then more shield. So more healing and also increasing the amount of healing and value of shield buffs this champion receives. So it's going to be really helpful. And we also have a way to counter attack if anything, and then more damage reduction along the way. And for the rest of it here, I mean, I didn't really need to go with anything else here, so I just kind of left it open. But you could even go with the Whirlwind of Death if you want to, but I mean, it's very unlikely she'll be killing anything along the way. So she's not really going to be gaining advantage of this. So that's pretty much the masteries I have set for here. And honestly, I don't think you really need to have her booked at all, because you're not going to be using the A2 and A3 at all. And for the passive, you don't need books. But I mean, I booked her anyway, so I can just get a little bit extra damage here, and just to, you know, I guess it's helpful, better than nothing, even though it's not really much. So honestly, I don't think you need to book her. But for the rest of this gear here, yeah, as you can see, I don't have an amulet here because I just wanted to show that I have room for improvement if I want to stack her with more. But this is kind of like, I guess you could say, base requirements, if anything, to go with for this fight. Now for the rest of the champions that I use here, you just want to go with whatever nukers you have available. And I just went with like some of my best nukers that I have. And let me go over to the Bommal here. So as you can see, I have Trunda, I have a Magnar, I have a Hefrak, and for the Aura lead here, you want to go with HP percentage in all allies, because that's going to be super helpful. As you can see, I have him giving me 25%. I have other legendary champions that give me 33%, but I just decided to choose him because, I mean, I'm sure A lot of you might have one of these laying around, or some sort of HP percentage along the way. Even like a rare champion could be helpful, but just whatever I can do to maximize more HP on my Lady Annabelle. Again, for the rest of the champions here, I'm just throwing in nukers. Their only sole purpose is just to get by the waves as quickly as possible. Like, I don't really have to have legendary champions in here per se. Like, whatever nukers you have. But I even thought about maybe, you know what, for this purpose of this battle here, maybe I could even throw in like a ninja, just for this fight, because I feel like ninja could even give me brimstone on the last fight of the Bommal, maybe even like one hit, and that'll take down the timer a little bit. So, because I do have a him awaken with the brimstone. But I'll just leave it like this for now so you guys can see for yourself. Now, as far as a priestess goes, you want to make sure you don't have any buffs activated during the Bommal fight. But for the first round and second wave, it's fine. Just make sure you don't have any buffs activated for the final wave or the final boss fight, because if you do have any buffs available, the Bommal A2 does have a way to remove all your buffs, and then for each buff that's been removed, he's going to be placing bombs for each one, right? So you don't want additional bombs on your Lady Annabelle per se. Like, I guess the other champions doesn't matter too much, but I turn them off anyways. And yeah, so just make sure your Lady Annabelle A2 and A3 is off for round 3, which is the Bommal fight. But for the first 2 rounds, it doesn't really matter. So this is the build, and yeah, let's just get right into it, guys. So sit back, relax, and we're just gonna let the rest of the video play out with the Bommal fight. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do enjoy my content, then please make sure to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and I'll see you all in the next video.